Wheelchairs belong at home, not out here disturbing normal folks. The voice didn't just speak, it struck, like a blade of contempt slicing through the warm buzz of lunchtime conversation. It cleaved the atmosphere in the welcome diner into stunned silence. Forks paused mid-air. Coffee cups hovered, untouched. All eyes turned toward the source of the sound, but it was already too late. A harsh screech of metal echoed through the diner as a wheelchair jerked violently, followed by a heavy, stomach-churning thud. A woman, a customer moments ago, a target now, had been shoved from her wheelchair. Her body hit the floor with a dull crash. The contents of her bag spilled like a broken life across the checkered linoleum. A worn leather wallet lay open, a carefully folded handkerchief unfurled like a white flag. And then, as if carried by fate itself, a faded photograph floated softly onto the ground beside a booth. Every diner patron froze. No one said a word. No one moved. The air, once warm and cozy, now felt like glass, fragile, brittle, threatening to shatter with the next word. 30 minutes later, outside the diner's front door, the sound of screeching tires tore through the silence like a battle cry. A sand-colored military Humvee jerked to a halt, its engine rumbling like a storm barely held back. The doors flung open, and 3 Marines stepped out. No words were exchanged, none were needed. Their boots thudded against the pavement with solemn authority. The moment they entered, the air in the diner shifted again, this time like a thunderclap rolling across a war-torn field. The swagger, the arrogance that had stained the atmosphere earlier, vanished like mist under a rising sun. Unease slithered over every heart, because something deeper than outrage was brewing now, something ancient, something righteous. Have you ever seen humiliation transform into honor? Linda Rowe had been there through it all, silently observing from her regular spot, a weathered corner booth tucked just under a sunlit window. The golden Montana light spilled across the cracked vinyl seat, stretching shadows across the worn floor like reaching hands. Her fingers, calloused and scarred, rested on her lap, unmoving. At 42, Linda wasn't just a woman in a wheelchair. She was a former Marine Staff Sergeant, forged in the crucible of war and loss. She had survived things most people couldn't bear to imagine. Her left leg had been taken by an improvised explosive device on a sunburned Afghan road. But the real wounds, the ones that woke her in the night, were deeper, hidden, the kind of pain that doesn't bleed but still leaves scars. Working part-time at the diner gave her a sense of rhythm, a slice of normal in a world that no longer made much sense. Here, she didn't need to be Sergeant Rowe. She could just be Linda. Mike, the diner's owner, knew her past. He was a veteran too, grizzled and quiet. He didn't offer pity, just a job and a handshake. No questions asked. Between them, respect needed no words. But peace is fragile. It shattered the moment the front bell jingled. 4 men swaggered in, loud and sour with the stench of cheap whiskey and entitlement. The kind of men who spoke as if volume equaled truth. Linda's stomach knotted the moment she saw who led them. Jack Winters, a name she hadn't heard in years, but one she hadn't forgotten. He'd once worn the same uniform as her, dishonorably discharged, a man who'd lost his way and blamed the world for it. Jack had always mistaken cruelty for strength, mistaking fear in others as proof of his dominance. Well, what do we have here? He sneered, elbowing his friends and nodding toward Linda. Half a soldier on wheels. Linda didn't flinch. 18 years in the military had taught her the value of silence. She kept folding napkins with military precision, her eyes never rising to meet his. She knew which battles were worth the scars. Jack leaned back, raising his voice so even the kitchen staff could hear. I didn't think they let cripples handle food. Must be some kind of health violation, huh? People shifted uncomfortably. Eyes darted away. One couple whispered, considering leaving. but no one said a thing. Melissa, the young waitress with kind eyes and trembling hands, glanced toward Linda with a flicker of concern. But then she returned to cleaning an already spotless counter, trying to disappear. Linda approached the table methodically, rolling smoothly. "I'll bring you gentlemen some menus," she said calmly, her voice like stone beneath velvet. Jack spread out in the booth like a king in a cheap throne. "With pleasure, Rolly Polly. But don't roll too far. I might miss you." Laughter erupted around him. Coarse, hollow. He wasn't finished. "How'd someone like you even make it into the Corps?" he scoffed. "Quota hire? Political correctness ruining everything these days." Linda's knuckles tightened around the wheels of her chair, but she kept moving. She wouldn't give him the satisfaction of a reaction. "I've served with women before," Jack continued, voice soaked in mockery. "Most of them were more trouble than help. You're probably the reason we lose wars." Linda returned with the menus and set them down wordlessly. "Today's special is meatloaf and mashed potatoes," she said, as if discussing the weather. Then Jack grabbed her wrist. Tight. Beneath his rolled sleeve, a Marine Corps tattoo twisted with the movement. Mockery defiling honor. "So you were a real jarhead, huh?" he sneered. "What did you do? Make coffee while the real soldiers fought?" "Let go of my hand," Linda said, her voice low and cold as steel. "Or what? You gonna roll me over, Sarge?" He laughed and shoved her. "You're exactly what's wrong with this country. Weakness dressed up in a uniform." Linda inhaled slowly. 4 counts in. Hold. Release. The same breathing technique that had steadied her during mortar attacks and helicopter evacuations. "I'll let you look over the menu," she said. Her voice never cracked, but as she turned to go, Jack stuck his leg out. She swerved. "Don't you walk away from me," he barked. "You stand when I speak to you." Linda didn't pause. "Your server will be with you shortly." Jack's eyes flared with fury. His voice rose. "People in wheelchairs should stay at home. You don't belong out here with the rest of us." The laughter from his table surged. A large, red-faced man with a greasy beard stood up, wobbling slightly from drink. He walked behind Linda, and without warning, he grabbed her chair and shoved, hard. Her cry was cut off by the sound of metal crashing against wood. Her body crumpled to the floor. Hot coffee splashed across her front. Her prosthetic leg twisted awkwardly, painfully. Her elbow scraped the ground as she tried to catch herself. Still, no one moved. Only the men's laughter echoed. Ugly, empty, cruel. Linda stayed there, on the floor. The humiliation wasn't new, but that didn't make it easier. Around her, the debris of her life lay scattered. The photograph caught the light. Her uniform, her brothers and sisters in arms. A time before the pain. Slowly, using her core strength and sheer will, she sat up. She righted the chair on her own. Pain flared through her back, but she gritted her teeth. Still, no one helped. Melissa took a hesitant step forward, but Dave, the manager, shook his head. "Don't," he whispered. "They're regulars, big tippers. We don't need the trouble." Melissa's eyes burned. "But she works here." "They come every week," Dave said, panicked. "Just let it go." Linda heard it all. She said nothing. She rolled herself back to her booth, every movement slow, deliberate. Her fingers brushed the spot where her medals had once been pinned. Her heart screamed, but her face remained still. She had long since run out of tears. But not everyone in the diner had looked away. Near the window, an 8-year-old boy clutched a straw wrapper between nervous fingers. He'd watched everything. His eyes weren't confused. They were clear. He turned to his father, a broad-shouldered man with a military haircut and a stiff posture that never left him. "Dad, she's a real soldier too, right?" The man's jaw clenched. He looked at Linda, then at Jack. Without another word, he stood up, kissed his wife's forehead, and stepped outside. He pulled out his phone. "This is Lieutenant Crawford," he said, voice sharp as a blade. "I need to report something. You're not going to believe what just happened inside this diner, but you will want to send someone." Inside, the sun dipped lower, casting orange light over the diner's dusty floor. Linda sat motionless in her booth, but something had shifted, and this time, it wouldn't be silence that followed.